I got rid of the auxiliary lights after I installed this headlight. Here's why I think Vaishnu's LED Touring Headlight is a much better option to the stock headlight or even the auxiliary lights on your Triumph Scrambler 400X. Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. So those of you follow me on Instagram would know that a few months back I did a weight loss program on my Himalayan. I got rid of a lot of things on my Himalayan, as a part of which I decided to get rid of the auxiliary lights on my Himalayan. So I was looking for a replacement for my aux lamps. I was in the market in search for an LED headlight or even replacing the whole headlight unit or the headlight assembly as a whole. I came across few options in the market like generic ones and even from some brands like HJG and all. That's when I accidentally stumbled upon this brand called Vaishnu. Since it comes as a whole replacement unit for your stock headlamps, I thought I'll give it a try so that I can get rid of the auxiliary lights, its clamps, its wiring harness, its switch and so on. I installed Vaishnu's LED Touring Headlight on my Himalayan in January 2024 and I've been using it for almost 10-11 months now. We got the Triumph Scrambler 400X in February 2024. So as soon as we got delivery of the bike, we wanted to put an auxiliary light or even a headlight for the Scrambler 400X because, as you might know, the stock headlight of the Scrambler 400X is absolutely good for nothing. So unfortunately at that point of time, Vaishnu didn't have an LED headlight option for the Scrambler 400X. So we went with the Mad Dog Scout X auxiliary lights. We've been happy with the Scout X auxiliary lights, but as soon as Vaishnu's headlight for the Scrambler 400X got released, and since I was using this Vaishnu's headlight on my Himalayan for 10-11 months now, I was about to put up a review video on that headlight suggesting you to go for it because it's been absolutely a game changer for me. Just at that point of time, the folks from Vaishnu were kind enough to reach out to me after seeing my video on accessories for the Scrambler 400X. They told me that they had just released the LED Touring Headlight for Scrambler 400X as well, and they agreed to send me a unit for trying it out and testing it out for myself. So disclaimer, even though this particular unit was sent to me, I had already purchased the unit for my Himalayan way before I had got this unit for the Scrambler 400X. So I was more than happy to install them on the Scrambler 400X and get rid of the auxiliary lights as soon as possible, because as you know, I like to keep the bike as light as possible and not load it with unnecessary accessories and increase the weight, which in turn affects the performance of a bike. So before I get into the pros and cons of this headlight, here's an intro of the headlight. Vaishnu's LED Touring Headlight comes as a whole headlight assembly unit, which is a direct plug and play product. It is motorcycle specific and it is available for most of the motorcycles out there. Although it's a direct plug and play product and there are plenty of YouTube videos to show you how to install it, and even Vaishnu has a detailed instruction manual on how to install it, I am very reserved when it comes to installing and uninstalling electrical accessories when it comes to my motorcycle. So I got the headlight installed by my mechanic on my Himalayan and another local mechanic on the Scrambler 400X. My Mad Dog Scout X unit was reinstalled by Triumph Service Center folks, so I thought maybe they will help me out in installation of Vaishnu headlight, but unfortunately rules have changed, it seems, because they are having a high inflow of motorcycles and a little bit of other issues. They refuse to install any aftermarket accessories on the bike, so I had to get it installed from a local mechanic. But it's a fairly easy process. I too recommend that you get it installed from a known mechanic than try to fiddle around with the electrical wirings and all that stuff in your motorcycle. If you know what you're doing, then go ahead. It's an easy installation process. So it's been around 6,000 kilometers since I'm using these headlights on my Himalayan and around 200 to 250 kilometers on my Scrambler 400X as well. So let me get into the pros and cons after thorough testing what I felt about the headlights. Now coming to the pros of this headlight, the first and foremost pro is the brightness. Vaishnu's headlight offers great brightness and visibility to get through any night touring situations. It is almost comparable to my HJG aux lights that I had on the Himalayan and the Mad Dog Scout X that I currently have on my Scrambler 400X. Now on the highways, especially at night, it is bright enough to give very good visibility to a great distance. We did a 150 kilometer stretch from Lamayuru to Leh at around 8:30 to 10:30 in the night, and we were at the complete mercy of these headlights. The road was pitch dark, and those of you who have gone to that Leh Kargil highway in the night would absolutely know what I am talking about. So this headlight was saving grace in that kind of scenario where we had to travel in the night and make it as soon as possible, but there was nothing around, no lights, no street lights, nothing. and these lights were plenty enough to give a good visibility of even the mountains that were surrounding us. I don't prefer to tour at night because of safety reasons, but now when we have to get to a certain place in case of any emergency, like how we had to get from Lamayuru to Leh because we didn't have any other staying options or anything like that, then these lights come in very handy. The second main pro of the headlight is the throw of the headlight. It is a focused beam, so you'll get nice demarcated area ahead of the road. It doesn't spread light or throw light to the sides and all around you like how you have with the Mad Dog Scout X or any other auxiliary lights for that matter. The throw is completely focused ahead of you to the center, and if adjusted properly in the low beam, it will not cross your eye level for the incoming traffic. So in low beam for incoming traffic, it will not cause an issue, but it will clearly illuminate the road ahead of you in a well demarcated way to a much greater distance. Usually auxiliary lamps just throw and spread the light. It is a hassle for the incoming traffic to navigate through when your auxiliary lights are on. They'll usually find it difficult to navigate through. Even you find it difficult when a bike crosses you with the auxiliary lights on blaring at you in the night. It will cause glare on your helmet and all this stuff. These headlights in the dim setting, if focused correctly, it will not cross the eye level of the incoming traffic. It nicely illuminates the road in a well demarcated area and doesn't throw the unnecessary light towards the sides and top and all that stuff. So that's what I liked about the throw of the light. It is very well focused, well demarcated, and goes a long distance and reflects and comes back, so you will have a nice confidence when you're touring in the night with these headlights. The third main pro of the headlight is the wattage. Now the stock halogen bulb on my Himalayan is about 55 wattage, and Vaishnu requires even less than half of what the halogen bulb requires. Vaishnu's headlight is around 24 wattage, so it puts very less pressure on the battery and thereby extending the life of the battery. Believe it or not, my Himalayan's battery has never been changed and it is 4 years and 1 month old now. Now the fourth pro of this headlight is a feature. It has 3 different colors that comes in one single unit. It has a pure white color, it has a pure yellow color, and a third color is a mixture of both, which they call it as a warm white color. These 3 colors you will get separately in the dim setting. In the bright setting you have 2 colors, pure white and yellow. The yellow one is shared by the yellow and the warm white dim colors. I personally use the warm white most of the time because it closely resembles the halogen headlight that I had been used to on the Himalayan, and the yellow high beam is very good. The yellow light is particularly useful in foggy conditions, like when you go on Western Gut tours and all that stuff. In foggy conditions, in misty conditions, the yellow light will be particularly effective. You don't need to install extra fog lamps just for that. This light has built-in 3 different colors suitable for multiple occasions. And these headlights also come with DRL and non-DRL versions. So if you're not a big fan of the DRLs, you can go for the non-DRL version and have the headlight switched off all the time during the daytime. I personally went for the DRL version on both my bikes because the looks were better in it, and mostly in the city riding I only use the DRL because DRL itself is bright enough most of the time. One more thing to note, as you might know, the Himalayan doesn't have an headlight on or off switch, especially the BS4 and the BS6 versions. Right from the time you switch on the ignition, the headlight is on, and this drains the battery a lot. So the Vaishnu headlight assembly unit comes with an extra switch as well, where you can switch on the headlight and switch off the headlight. In the Triumph Scrambler 400X, you have a separate switch for switching on and switching off the headlight. So since the Vaishnu's headlight is a direct plug and play product, you don't need to install any extra switches or anything. Just with the stock switches, it works perfect. You can change the colors, switch on, switch off the headlight, dim, bright, and everything works with the stock switches as well. So this is one great thing I liked about the version they had for the Scrambler 400X. You'll not have any additional or extra switches popping out of your handlebar. Now coming to the fifth point is the build quality. I like the build quality very much. The wiring, the harness, the switch, and the whole headlight assembly unit is of very good quality, and you can feel it while installing, or when you go through the whole unit, you can feel that. And over the past 10-11 months of usage, I've not had any issue with the build quality of any of the switches or any of the wiring or anything like that. Throughout every weather condition, cold, hot, rainy, and all the conditions, the lights performed very good. Now coming to the sixth pro is the customer service. I had one small issue with my Himalayan's unit, in the sense that after installing it, whenever I used to jump a bump or go into a pothole, the light used to flicker and change the color. So I reached out to them through Instagram, asking them like this, I've been having this issue, can you help sorting me out? So they promptly replied and told me that it might be a loose connection with the coupler. You just need to take a look at it, adjust it properly, and then you will not have the issue again. And same thing happened. I took it to my mechanic, explained the same thing what they had told me. He just adjusted and fixed tightly the coupler, and then the issue was solved. So their customer service is also very good. In case you run into any issue, you can reach out to them and they'll quickly respond and help you out in fixing it. On the Scrambler 400X, I have not had any issues at all. Now coming to a quick demonstration and comparison of the headlights. This is the DRL of the Triumph Scrambler 400X's stock headlight. This is the low beam. This is the high beam. Low beam again, high beam. This is the headlight along with the Mad Dog Scout X. Sorry, the Scout X is not in focus because we had just come back from Ladakh trip and the fog lamps were out of focus a little bit. That's why it's shining the trees and not the road. But just for comparison, the stock headlights with the Mad Dog Scout X. This is the Mad Dog Scout X just with the DRL. And this is the Scout X with the stock headlights. Now we'll see Vaishnu's LED Touring Headlight along with the Mad Dog Scout X. Headlight off. This is the DRL. Headlight on. This is the white headlight. So bright, dim, bright, dim. Headlight off. The yellow color are the fog lamps. You have the yellow plus white. Just the white. Again, headlight or the DRL. Yellow, yellow plus white. And this will be the bright, this will be the dim. Bright and bright and dim. And then this is the Mad Dog with that. Vaishnu headlight, the Mad Dog. If I switch off the headlight, this is the Mad Dog. Just the focus you can see. And the Pro. And this is the Vaishnu light. You can clearly see the demarcation of Vaishnu's headlights. Again, if I put the yellow and the bright, dim and the bright. If I put the switch on, yellow plus white. This is the Vaishnu headlight plus the Mad Dog, and the Vaishnu, just the Vaishnu headlight. Now here is a side-by-side comparison of the stock headlights with Vaishnu's LED Touring Headlight and the Mad Dog Scout X. As you can see, Vaishnu's LED headlight is much brighter than the stock headlight of the Scrambler 400X and has a well demarcated, focused beam and throw as compared to the Mad Dog Scout X. Now here's a side-by-side comparison of the three different colors of Vaishnu's Touring LED headlight. You have the warm white, the pure white and the yellow. Now coming to the cons, the one con that I told you, it's not a con, it was just a loose connection basically. Another con I want to mention is that the headlight assembly unit of the Scrambler 400X doesn't come with a provision to install the stock headlight grill. This was a little bit disheartening to me, so I reached out to them and asked them like, why didn't you provide? So they told me that as Scrambler 400X owners know, when you switch on the headlight, you see the shadow of that grill on the road. They told me that if we install the grill on top of the Vaishnu headlight, same thing might happen, the shadow on the road and all that, and it will obstruct the full power of the headlight. So that's why they purposely didn't give the provision to install the stock headlight grill on the headlight assembly for the Scrambler 400X. In Himalayan, this is not an issue because Himalayan's grill, you have plenty of aftermarket options to install either on the headlight or on the front frame and all that stuff. So there are so many options. So I got a headlight grill installed on the Himalayan, even though I don't like having headlight grill on, I don't like the personal look of it, but for protecting this expensive headlight, I installed the headlight grill on my Himalayan. I wanted to do the same thing for the Scrambler 400X as well, and since it comes stock, I wanted to put the same grill on that. It will obstruct the full intensity of light of the headlight. So that's why they didn't give that provision. But I wish there was some option to install at least some other aftermarket grills that doesn't cause much of an obstruction just to protect these headlights. Because till date on my Himalayan that I've been having for 4 years and the Scrambler for almost 8-9 months now, I've not had an issue where a stone has come and hit the headlight or anything like that. But it's just a worry whenever you're going on a trail rides or in dirt track practice and all that. If there's a bike ahead of you that's continuously spinning stones and slush to your bike, there's a chance that a stone can come and hit your headlight and break it. Even though I've not had this issue, it's just a worry in the back of my mind. It would have been nice if I could install a market headlight grill just to protect these headlights. Now finally coming to the cost. Vaishnu's LED Touring Headlight, both for the Scrambler 400X and the Himalayan, is priced somewhere around 8,000 rupees for the non-DRL version and around 9,000 rupees for the DRL version. And they have 2 or 3 different styles like plain white DRL, warm yellow DRL and all that, so that you can go to their website and check it out which style suits you. I would personally recommend you to get the one with the DRL just to avoid any legal issues, because as you know, BS6 vehicles have a mandate that they should come with DRLs, and DRL is bright enough most of the time for city use. So I would suggest you to go for the DRL version of Vaishnu's headlight. So now, is it a value for money product? Absolutely yes. I would 100% recommend these headlights because, see, if you go for the Mad Dog Scout X, which is the cheapest good quality headlight that comes with warranty and all that stuff, it itself costs around 10,000 rupees. The light, the clamps, the wiring, the switch and the labor charges including everything, it came up to around 10,000 rupees for us. So when you compare to that, when you're getting a headlight with non-DRL version for around 8,000 and a DRL version for 9,000, and that too 3 different colors built inside, which you can change with the flick of a switch. Mad Dog Scout X and all that, you need to install the filters for the yellow and the clear version and all. You have to externally install the filters if you want to change the lights. This one, you can change the color on the go with the flick of a switch. So it's very, very easy to do that. Compared to the auxiliary lights with the additional added weights of the lights, the clamps, the wiring, the switch and everything, I think it is best to go with the aftermarket headlight assembly that you can swap it out for the stock one, so that it saves the weight and saves all the ugly wiring and everything that comes with the auxiliary lights. As soon as I got the Vaishnu headlights installed and used them for around a month on my Himalayan, I got rid of my HJG auxiliary fog lamps, and same thing, I'm going to remove the Mad Dog Scout X auxiliary lights from my Scrambler 400X as well, and I'm going to sell it off also. Not that it is any bad or anything like that, but just that I've got a good enough replacement with much less weight, more options, and overall a satisfying product that I've been using for months together. More than the features and the brightness and all the stuff, in my personal opinion, I went for this headlight mainly for the weight savings, because I am not a fan of loading up the bike with full of accessories. Just as an experiment, I tried to get rid of things on my Himalayan one by one just to save its weight and see whether it actually improves the performance or not. Instead of installing all performance engine mods on my Himalayan, the biggest noticeable difference that I felt after the aluminum rims was the less weight that I had on my Himalayan. When a motorcycle is less heavy, it is easy to maneuver, it's easy to flicker around traffic, it has good pickup, and it has a good performance overall. So in this kind of scenario is when these kind of products come in very handy, where you can just swap the existing stock headlight and have a good decent headlight that does the job without adding unnecessary equipments and all the stuff onto the bike. Now, should you get it? In my opinion, if you are like me, who doesn't primarily tour in the night but usually needs a few hours of light coverage like early mornings or late evenings, where you are starting a trip before sunrise or ending the trip just after sunset, this light is plenty enough to give you a nice coverage on the highway and in the city and in off-road use as well to get you to safety. And these are perfect alternative, in my opinion, to auxiliary fog lamps in terms of not adding so much weight on your bike, like the fog lamp clamps, the wiring, the switches, the lamps itself. So I think if you're like me, who's looking for a good high quality replacement to your stock headlamps, then Vaishnu's LED Touring Headlamp is the best out there in the market right now. But if you are someone who does touring primarily in the night, first of all, I don't know why you do that. It is not safe. It's not safe. And I won't recommend that also. But if you're someone who does primarily touring in the night, then these fog lamps or even this headlight might not be enough for you. You might have to go for a bigger and a more expensive fog lamps with more wattage and more coverage and all that stuff to shine the whole area ahead of you just like the daylight. But I think for the 99.9% of users out there who's looking to replace the stock headlamps of the Scrambler 400X or for the Himalayan, then Vaishnu's LED Touring Headlight is the perfect choice. That's it for today's video. I hope you guys liked it. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.